Contrary to popular opinion, the Bible is not apolitical at all. It has a great deal to say about kings and rulers and about their role in this world. The proper role of such rulers forms the prayer and hopes that are found in Psalm 72. Endow the king with your justice, O God, the royal son with your righteousness. May he judge your people in righteousness, your afflicted ones with justice. May the mountains bring prosperity to the people, the hills the fruit of righteousness. May he defend the afflicted among the people and save the children of the needy. May he crush the oppressor. May he endure as long as the sun, as long as the moon, through all generations. This psalm is often read during this time of year because of the familiar words that follow, which seem to foreshadow the story of the Magi. May the kings of Tarshish and of distant shores bring tribute to him. May the kings of Sheba and Seba present him gifts. May all kings bow down to him, and all nations serve him. Many have seen the coming of the wise men from the east to acknowledge the new king of Israel born in Bethlehem as fulfillment of a prophecy that is found here. Maybe it is, but we are mistaken if we think the prophecy was about a moment that is now past. Instead, it is about a movement that is still happening. This psalm is a prayer asking God to reshape our reality through the deeds of those to whom God has given authority. The psalmist sees the role of kings to really be that of the servants of God and enabling that to happen. Therefore, his prayer is that God will endow the king with your justice and the royal son with your righteousness. The true fulfillment of prophecy in this psalm then requires the establishment of justice and righteousness, and hints at how this is going to come about. It will be the role of the king or anyone else to whom God may give power and authority to defend the afflicted, to save the children of the needy, to bring about true justice. They are to bring prosperity to all the land and to crush the oppressor, which is anyone or anything that threatens their true well-being and prevents them from attaining justice and righteousness in their life. Historically, of course, the prosperity of the few has sometimes come at the expense of the many. Such a false economy is always unsustainable. Therefore, it's also the job of such rulers to ensure that the mountains will bring prosperity to all the people. For he will deliver the needy who cry out, the afflicted who have no one to help. He will take pity on the weak and the needy and save the needy from death. He will rescue them from oppression and violence, for precious is their blood in his sight. This was essentially the role of the medieval kings as well, although in that time, the church also held responsibility and power to ensure that the kingdom was always righteous. As defined by the scholars who have studied that time period, the role of a medieval king was to protect the kingdom, increase the wealth and trade of the kingdom, as well as to take care of the poor, redistributing the tribute paid as necessary. This was the ideal of the monarchic structure, and in the best of days, it worked. In the worst of days, both state and church had been absolutely vacant of morality. A good monarchy offered more freedom than any place on the earth today. A bad monarchy was as despotic and corrupt as anyone can possibly imagine. In such a medieval kingdom, the role of the citizen was to support the king in every way they could. Bad kings, however, eventually led to a search for a better way. As democracy began to replace monarchy, historically, our country has been one to whom the nations have looked for both righteousness and justice. We have led by example. They have seen in us a model for a more egalitarian society, which believes in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. Like the wise men of old, these countries have come to us looking for a seed that could grow in their own far-off countries. What they may not have realized, however, is just how aspirational that egalitarian principle is in practice. Even the power of a righteous king or even a pope could never single-handedly hope to create a nation that is righteous in the eyes of God. That only happens when the people themselves also aspire to such righteousness, justice, and equality. For that reason, we've always been a nation with unfulfilled dreams of what we could become, in spite of some very good leaders along the way. It was John Quincy Adams who said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." James Garfield once said, "There are men and women who make the world better just by being the kind of people they are. They have the gift of kindness or courage or loyalty or integrity. It really matters very little whether they are behind the wheel of a truck or running a business or bringing up a family. They teach the truth by living it." And Theodore Roosevelt once said, "No nation can be really great unless it is great in peace, in industry, integrity, honesty." Skilled intelligence and civic affairs and industrial enterprises alike, the special ability of the artist, the determination to wrong no man and to stand for righteousness, all these are necessary in a great nation. We want to become a great nation. Our dreams will be fulfilled only when all of us finally give our allegiance to the true King, the Son of Righteousness, the Son of David, whom we know as Jesus. The kings of old all bowed down before him, so why shouldn't we? No other king but this one truly deserves our loyalty. Anyone with power and authority must understand that he or she is really the servant not only of the people, but also of the King of righteousness. If our land is ever to truly prosper and achieve the dream which has so long eluded us, the true King must rule in all our hearts. In the words of the prophet Jeremiah, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will raise up for David a righteous branch, and he shall reign as king, and deal wisely, and shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In his days Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell securely. And this is the name by which he will be called. The Lord is our righteousness." Good kings will always be hard to find, but the Lord of righteousness is always as close as a prayer. King David was not always the best example of a righteous king, but over the course of his life, he got better. The final words of King David are found in the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23. "The Spirit of the Lord spoke through me. His word was on my tongue. The God of Israel spoke. The Rock of Israel said to me, when one rules over people in righteousness, when he rules in the fear of God, he is like the light of morning at sunrise on a cloudless morning, like the brightness after rain that brings grass from the earth." People in every land long for a righteous leader, someone who will rule over them in righteousness. But whether or not that is the case for us, the good news is that God has already given us a king of righteousness, and there will be no end to his reign. It will endure as long as the sun, as long as the moon, through all generations. We serve both this king and our country best by working to establish justice and create righteousness in the land, by defending those who are weak from oppression, by saving the children of the needy, and by ensuring that this land will always bring prosperity to all the people and not just wealth to the few. May it also be our hope and prayer that the leaders of our country will always share these goals as well. Be safe, and God bless you.